The halls of the sovereign spire echoed with a quiet tension as Queen Lareth stood at the highest balcony of her citadel. The skies above her kingdom blazed with the light of 3 suns, yet no warmth touched her. For cycles beyond counting, she had waited for a message, a signal, anything that might reveal the fate of her lost daughter Myra. None came. The void remained silent, and in that silence the queen's resolve had begun to crack. Her advisers had long urged her to accept the truth. They claimed the frontier war had swallowed Myra. They claimed that a vessel destroyed near the Rift Nebula could leave no survivors. They claimed that the queen should grieve and move forward. But Lareth knew that grief had no direction. It only expanded, crushing everything beneath its slow weight. Still she waited. She clung to a single belief. If her daughter lived, Myra would find her way home. If she lived, she would send a sign. If she lived, the stars would answer. And if she had fallen, then the queen would know when her heart finally broke. On this day, an alarm bell chimed across the citadel. It was not a distress call, nor a military alert. It was the signal for an incoming ship requesting royal landing rights. Lareth turned toward the sound. Only diplomatic craft or survivors of great importance used that channel. Her pulse rose. She stared toward the horizon. A small vessel descended through the bright air, its hull patched with welded plates. It was not one of her own. It bore none of her banners. Its engines coughed as if they fought through exhaustion. Yet as it approached, she felt a pull within her chest, a recognition deeper than sight. The ship landed upon the royal platform. A hush fell over the courtyard as guards raised their weapons. Lareth stepped forward without fear. She would confront whatever truth waited inside. The ramp lowered. A figure stepped out. It was Myra Dot. The queen's breath vanished. Her daughter stood thin and worn yet unbroken. Her armor bore scorch marks. Her hair had grown uneven. Her stride wavered from long months of struggle. But her eyes were bright, alive, and full of a depth Lareth had not seen before. Behind Myra walked a human. He was tall, with a calm expression and steady posture. He carried a simple pack slung over one shoulder and wore a uniform unlike any the queen had known. His name was Ray. Myra had told him during their journey that her people valued simplicity in names. He had smiled and said that his name would suit her world well. The guards murmured with confusion. Many had only heard rumors of humans. They were known as tough, unpredictable, bound by a fierce sense of loyalty. Some believed them to be reckless. Others believed them to be protectors beyond measure. Doc Ray stood with quiet dignity. Myra stepped forward and bowed. Lareth did not wait for ceremony. She rushed to her daughter and pulled her close, trembling as relief washed through her. Myra returned the embrace with equal strength. The queen felt life under her touch. Her daughter had survived. That truth alone collapsed months of despair. After a long moment, Myra stepped back and gestured toward Ray. "Mother, this is Ray. Without him, I would not have returned." The human inclined his head respectfully. Lareth studied him with sharp eyes. "You brought my daughter home." Ray met her gaze. "She fought harder than I ever could. I only made sure she had a path." The queen felt the sincerity in his voice. It was not boastful nor false. It was a simple truth spoken plainly. She turned to her advisers. "Prepare a hall for the story. My daughter has returned. We will hear everything." Word spread through the kingdom with incredible speed. Citizens flooded the streets in celebration. Lanterns lit the avenues. Drums thundered from watchtowers. For the people of Lareth's world, the return of the princess was not only a miracle, but a spark of hope in a time plagued by threats. Across the realm, the frontier war had taken lives and scattered families. Myra's survival meant that fate could still favor the lost, yet beneath the celebration hid a deeper curiosity. Who was the human who walked beside the princess as though he had crossed 1,000 dangers with her? What bond had formed between them? And what story had they carried back from the stars in the grand hall? The queen sat at the center upon a raised platform. Mira and Ray stood before her, while captains, advisors, scholars, and citizens filled the chamber. Mira began her tale. She spoke of her ship's ambush near the Rift Nebula. She described how ruptured engines hurled her vessel into a debris field where shards of drifting metal tore through the hull. She explained how escape pods malfunctioned, and how only a single emergency shuttle, launched before the ship broke apart, that shuttle had drifted into human territory. Ray had been stationed on a patrol route when he found the damaged craft. His team had rescued Mira from the failing life support chamber. She had been unconscious, frozen by shock. When she awoke, she had learned she was the sole survivor of her fleet. Ray had been assigned as her primary guardian while her condition stabilized, but war had stretched far across the stars. Human space was not untouched. Raiders struck colonies. Hostile forces infiltrated border stations. During one such attack, Myra and Ray were forced to escape together when their refuge base faced destruction. Their journey became one of survival through hostile systems. Ray had shown Myra how humans navigated threats. He protected her during raids. He shared supplies without hesitation. He repaired damaged equipment late into restless nights. Through every challenge he remained steady. Yet Myra was no helpless traveler. She fought beside him. She demonstrated courage that surprised Ray more than once. She saved him in 2 battles when stealth fighters ambushed their route. She negotiated with traders to acquire parts for their failing ship. She refused to surrender to despair, even as war zones closed around them. Their bond grew from shared danger. Ray spoke only when Myra paused. His voice remained calm. He described the respect he had gained for her people. He explained how humanity valued alliances built on trust rather than fear. He praised Myra's will. He stated plainly that bringing her home was the right choice. Quiet filled the hall when their story ended. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then the queen rose from her seat. Her bearing shifted from grieving mother to ruler of immense authority. She stepped toward Ray. Human Ray, you risked your life many times to return my daughter. You acted without seeking reward. That is something my realm will not forget. Ray bowed his head. Anyone would have done the same. The queen shook her head. No, not anyone. Many would have abandoned hope. Many would have saved themselves. You chose the harder road. The hall murmured with agreement. Myra stepped forward. Mother, Ray is more than a guardian. He is a friend. His people and ours should not remain strangers. If we stand together, the frontier war may shift. Hope may return to others who have lost as we have. Lareth studied her daughter with thoughtful silence. Mira spoke as one who had grown far beyond her years. Hardship had taught her wisdom. The queen turned her gaze toward Ray again. My daughter believes in the strength of your people. I am inclined to trust her insight. A counselor stepped forward hesitantly. Your Majesty, humans are known to be unpredictable. Forming alliance without extensive study could be unwise. Ray did not flinch. He spoke with honesty. Humans are many things. We are fierce. We are stubborn. We make mistakes, but when we give our word, we stand by it. Myra knows that. Myra nodded firmly. I trust him with my life. The queen observed them. She saw how Myra stood closer to Ray than any stranger would. She saw mutual respect shaped through hardship. She saw the possibility of unity. Then I will consider a pact with humanity, Lareth said. But before any alliance forms, I must understand fully the character of the one who returned my daughter. Ray nodded. Ask anything you wish. First, she said, why did you choose to stay by her side, even when escape was within your reach? He answered without hesitation. Because leaving her would have been wrong. Because no one deserves to face the void alone. Because she fought for every breath, despite everything she had lost. I could not turn my back on that kind of determination. The queen saw no deceit in his eyes. She saw truth carved through experience. Later that night, as celebrations continued across the city, Mayra guided Ray to a balcony overlooking the illuminated capital. Lanterns floated through the sky. Music rose from the streets. Firelights shimmered along rooftops. Ray leaned on the railing. Your world is beautiful. I can see why you fought so hard to return. Mayra smiled softly. I fought because I believed my mother still waited, and because I knew you would help me reach her. Ray looked at her with quiet warmth. I am glad you are home. She turned to him. I hope this is not the end of your journey. My world could use someone like you. Your world has many strong warriors, Ray replied. I saw their strength firsthand when we landed, but few who see others with the clarity you do, she said. Ray considered her words. He had grown used to her direct honesty. It was part of what made her remarkable. Back in the Grand Hall, Queen Lareth met privately with her advisors. She listened to their concerns. Some feared involving humans in their affairs. Others believed the human's presence was a sign of great possibility. In the end, the queen made her decision. The next morning, she summoned Ray and Mayra to the throne chamber. Guards stood in ceremonial formation. Scholars recorded every word. Citizens gathered outside to hear the proclamation through amplified crystal channels. Ray stood tall, though he sensed the gravity of the sit.